podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Paul.
Yeah, and I'm Mark.
And we're at deer camp, or the end of deer camp.
Yeah, we're
Sunday
just
morning.
packing up to head home.
Yeah.
So
And I'm trying to think of, I was thinking over the past week, and all kind of blends in together.
it does.
I was trying to think what we did the first day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure it entails some walking.
There was lots of walking this week.
Lots of walking.
No deer.
No, I didn't get a deer.
No.
You get a lot of video of me walking
Yeah.
up and down
So
hills.
you'll have to get the muzzleloader out.
I might do that. Yeah, I got to test the waters with.
Nah, she said
wife.
don't come home until you have a deer.
Yeah, she did say that.
So you shouldn't be going home.
Well, I'm going home anyway. I'll open the door and throw my hat in, and if it comes back out, I won't go in. If it stays in, I'll follow it. So
Monday, yeah, we didn't have any snow until Wednesday.
yeah, it snowed Wednesday during the day, so
what
kind
did-
of.
What did we do Monday?
Oh, Monday. I got it written down in my journal, Paul, but
Walk.
like you say, it
I
kind
think
of all
we...
it all kind of blends in together.
Yeah,
So
I think we... What the heck did we do on Monday? We hooked up onto that ridge, didn't we? On the backside.
more
of
than
it?
likely, we hunted the same
Yeah.
area all
Yeah,
week.
there was a lot of deer sign in there.
Yeah,
So Monday, yeah, not much going on. Saw a lot of partridge on Monday.
yeah, yeah.
And-
I think
I
there
know-
was one day we saw 6 birds.
Yeah, every day we saw birds.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, yesterday we saw one and took off. You didn't even know.
yeah, probably.
I didn't say
yeah.
anything to you.
Yeah, I think I heard it, but I didn't say anything anyway. Yeah, I think I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, so Monday was that was a dull day. And then Tuesday, kind of the same thing. We were trying to get into some deer, just
Yeah,
blindly.
we walked the cuts a lot those days.
Well, the back edges of them.
Yeah.
We'd kind of cut up through
Yeah.
the woods in the backside of some of those cuts.
We knew there was deer in some of those cuts. There was all kinds of sign droppings
Yeah.
and stuff, but they may or may not have been there at that time. We
No.
didn't see any.
No, and then so we get snow on Wednesday, and that can be tough.
Yeah, that was
Trying to find a deer track on you
Yeah.
basically got to be lucky
yeah,
and just come someplace because it started snowing early that morning. It basically snowed heavy all through the day.
yeah,
So if you see a deer track that's snowed in, it's going to be
yeah,
pretty fresh. And
yeah.
yeah, we didn't.
Thursday I remember well. That was the wet day.
Thursday was a good day. Thursday was a killing day.
Yeah, it was
We should
foggy and yeah,
we should have got a deer on that day.
yeah.
So yeah, so back up. So Wednesday we get snow. Not much, as much as they were saying. We got 3 to 4 inches.
3 to 4 inches, yeah. Maybe
And-
on the ridges, the high tops, you might have got close to 4
Yeah.
inches, yeah. But not as much as they were saying. They were
No.
saying up to 7 inches, I think.
Down by the lake here, we had hardly any.
Yeah, maybe there was an inch down here by the
Wasn't much
lake.
here at all. And so yeah, that was a tough day. We didn't really. But then on Thursday we had a good plan.
Yeah,
We got right into it first thing.
yeah. We knew we come across a doe and a buck, and they went in an area, and we knew they were in there, and we knew they weren't far.
Yeah. So we cut a few sets of deer tracks that morning, and then we head down this road, and there's a buck and a doe going down, and we know on the backside there's a lake,
On the western side, there's a lake.
and then so we're like, well, we'll go down the road, see if
We
they
went
come
on
back out on this road, and then there's a spur road. It goes almost all the way down to the lake,
Yeah,
a little bit further. So we went down that road to make sure they didn't cross that.
right.
Ton of coyote tracks
Yeah,
right there.
coyotes everywhere. We heard coyotes
Oh,
everywhere
howling
we
and going
went. Yeah,
So we know, okay, they're not going to go into the lake, usually, unless you're chasing them.
right.
They didn't go across that road. So we did real quick, went back down around to another road, basically boxed them in.
Yeah, we knew they were in there. The only problem is the area they were in was
It's going to be hard to get a shot.
Going to be hard to kill a deer in there. And we got close to them.
You hear them breathing.
Yeah, we could literally hear them breathing. But it was a situation. You had skid trails going down, and they were going perpendicular to the skid trail, going in across them, and then bedded down in the skid trail. And we had to come through
Just a
jack
wall,
first.
wall of firs.
Just a wall of
and
firs.
they were just on the other side.
And they were, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
And you could hear it. It was foggy,
yeah.
not much for wind. All the snow that was on the trees is just dripping off.
Yeah.
And we're getting down in there, and we're going, man. I mean, wasn't a huge block of woods.
No.
Like we got to be seeing him any minute, any time. And then we get to a spot where she was bedded down over in that skid trail. We just heard kind of an exhale.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
My hearing's not the best, so I didn't know whether it was actually a blow, and I just didn't hear it. But
No.
it was just like a loud exhale.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to get your scent and just exhale some air there.
Yeah, they're right there.
And I didn't hear him run or anything, but
Yeah.
but,
Well, then he blew.
yeah, exactly.
But not hard. He just kind of, they were like haphazard blows. So we hung out there for a little bit, and then he left the doe.
Yeah, they split up.
They split up, and he went down a little further and waited for us.
Mm-hmm.
We jumped him again.
Heard him blow then
He
again.
blew again.
Yeah.
And then he ran for a little while, and then started to go down on the back side of that lake, and then hooked a right, and then went to a walk. Started acting like he was going to bed down. And I think we had a snack there at that point. When he slowed down and really started to meander and go in and about, we had a snack, and then you'd said, and it's on video, I mean, he's going to bed down here pretty soon. He's really just kind of
meandering.
going in all kinds of blowdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we come through a spot where it was wicked thick off to my right. And you could see his track going off to the right there. And I just see him stand up out of his bed.
Yeah,
and
he
take
was
off.
right behind a blowdown. A big
Big log about this big around.
Yeah,
I don't even think he could barely see over it. But he'd bedded behind that.
Yeah.
And there was a wall of fir trees in between
it was thick in
him
there.
and I. And I just see the white part of his back end stand up.
Yeah.
And he had an open exit.
Yeah.
To run out of there. But the funny thing was, we go over and we look at his bed, and we're like, geez, I'm crow. We're right on top of him again.
Yeah, we were close.
Right on top of him.
Yeah.
And, but at that point, he never really, every time we jumped him up, he never left hard.
No.
He just kind of, matter of fact, I think that time he didn't even really run. He took a couple bounds and then just started into a trot.
Yeah.
And then he was coming out to the road that we
parked on. Yeah, he went right up across that road.
Didn't really know where he wanted to go there. He kind of was backtracking.
Yeah, he was a little nervous going up there. You know, he kind of kept in the little evergreens back and forth, like you say. He'd go this way and then he'd go that way, and yeah.
Yeah. So by that time it was like what, noonish?
Yeah,
almost one.
Yeah, probably.
We were soaked.
Yeah, my feet. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the boots have a crack in them or not, but. We poured water out of my boots that night. My socks, you could wring them out, wring the water.
You couldn't get your boots off.
Couldn't get my boots off. Those the uninsulated lacrosse, their ankle fits tight.
Yeah.
And no, I couldn't get my boots off. I thought I might have to cut them off. If you didn't help me, I would have had to cut them off.
You have that water in there, just like suction.
Yeah. Yeah, and which wouldn't have been a big deal anyway. I'm throwing away a pair of leaky boots, so.
No, they're no good. So I thought you were going to call it quits when we get to the road. The truck's just down around the corner.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
No, he went up a hill, right straight up. Yeah. I don't know what the grade of that hill is, but
steep.
With those lacrosse boots on wet snow, yeah, it was slippery for me.
So he goes up, he does the same thing. Starts to meander and get into everything. We're like, he's going to bed down again.
And he did the same thing. He got in a thick area where there's logs and blowdowns everywhere, and he laid in amongst them. And then,
then he was into a bunch of hardwood whips.
Yeah.
It was just like this.
Yeah.
How you could ever get a bullet through there.
Yeah.
It'd be a miracle.
Yeah, well,
You'd try.
Yeah, he never gave us a place where you could kill him or anything. So.
Then he did that 2 more times.
Yeah, he bedded down.
Yeah, and then that was about the end of the day right there.
Yeah, then my feet had, like I say, they started getting cold.
Yeah.
Gloves were the same way. I took my gloves off, and it was my second pair of gloves that day. You could wring them out. Yeah. You could wring the water out of them, and I'd had enough fun for one day.
And I think temperature was dropping that day, right? It started out.
Yeah, it did.
Was that the day that
It did.
Yeah.
It got cold that night. The next day was windy and cold.
And we were soaked.
Yeah.
And, so we get back to the truck. No deer.
Oh,
But it was a fun day.
yeah. Yeah.
Watch the video. You'll see just how much fun it is.
What we do.
Basically 30 minutes into it and you're wet.
The things we do and call it a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, people be like, Paul, how was your vacation? Oh, good. I'm all rested up.
Yeah.
All nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Thanksgiving Day, not much was moving Thanksgiving Day.
No, that was Thanksgiving Day.
Friday.
Friday
Not
was,
much.
we didn't have a good, we went up on another ridge and there were deer tracks vacating the area and getting out of, and we didn't.
Nothing very big
No,
either.
and we didn't
Bunch
have,
of does and
we didn't put together any type of,
effective plan.
we
that
weren't in
day.
the game, that's for
No.
sure. Friday.
No. But Saturday,
Yeah, that was an interesting day.
I thought for sure we were going to
Yeah.
do something Saturday because we
Yeah.
were into a lot of bucks.
Yeah.
A lot of bucks. What we did is we again kind of did the same thing. We're kind of working some roads and we see a bunch of deer going in kind of the same
Block of woods.
block of woods. There was a buck
Yeah.
and a doe that went in and another couple nice sets of buck tracks. Everything seemed to be going up in there.
Right.
Nothing coming out.
Nothing coming out.
So we picked up a big set and went up in there and we're kind of like, well, we'll let things unfold as
Yeah.
they may because there's a lot of deer going into there
Yeah.
and nothing coming out. So we get up there and then it was like helter skelter. There was just deer and buck tracks
Yeah.
running everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere and frantic looking.
Yeah. They would run.
Stop.
They would run, start up the ridge, turn around. You'd see him stop. He'd turn and run down the ridge, and they were everywhere.
You
There
could
was
see
deer
it-
tracks going. You look around, in every direction you look, there was deer
running everywhere.
running everywhere.
And I think in the video I'd said, how are we not seeing any deer right now? Because there's so much deer sign.
There was, but they were gone.
Yeah.
They were gone.
So we stayed on it. It was a nice buck track. He'd kind of gone up on the ridge, comes down around, hooked into some more deer, kind of got by himself for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then hooked into some more deer. And then we're coming down, and we come into a whole bunch of buck tracks, nice buck tracks too. Like there was a lot of tracks there. That I was like, man, I'd follow that one. I'd follow that one.
Yeah.
One of them had blood in it.
Yeah, we followed the one that, yeah.
That was the easiest. It was a big buck track, and it was easy to stay with him and all that.
Yeah, his
Neck was bleeding.
his right, running down his right leg. We assume he had a wound on his neck from fighting, and it was running down the inside of his right front hoof, and there was blood on the inside of that right front hoof.
And it would drip a little
And
bit.
it was dripping off on him, spraying off on him a little bit when he, you could see it spraying off when he ran and stuff, that dripping off on him.
So we suspect that there was probably a hot doe.
There was a doe in there, yeah.
There was some fighting going on.
There was a couple bucks in there. They must have gotten a scrap and stuff,
Yeah.
which was interesting because to see how frantic they all were because there was tracks running everywhere, but not to get out of there. They back and forth.
No.
They'd run
You
up,
would-
run down, run this
Track-
way, stop, go, and
And tracking, we wasted a lot of time because tracking him, he'd get going and then he'd stop. You'd see where he stopped and paused
yeah.
and then come right back.
Yeah, like he was testing the air to see where
and
things
then
were.
he would go over to another area,
Yeah.
stop and pause, and then he'd run back, kind of zigzagging up this entire ridge.
Yeah,
Like he couldn't find what he was looking for.
yeah.
And he was,
And while you're on him, you're looking around and there's deer tracks all running everywhere.
Yeah.
They were just, it must have been quite the show in there that night.
that night. That was a clear, cold night.
Yeah, it must have been quite the show in there that,
Because I think we had 6 degrees when we get up
yeah,
that morning.
yeah, it was a cold,
Yep.
beautiful day. The abundant sunshine and a little bit of wind come up later in the. But the problem with that too, Paul, it was noisy as heck.
It was.
Because we'd had the thaw Thanksgiving Day,
Crunchy and
and we were up on that, and it was noisy.
yeah.
I mean,
The deal is with that. I mean, that buck was the
Yeah,
last
well,
thing
you-
in his mind was something coming. He was
Yeah.
running helter skelter
Yeah.
all over there.
Yeah, it is what it is. You deal with it. If it's crunchy, it's crunchy.
Yeah, they hear you coming no matter what.
Yeah, they do.
They got good ears.
Yeah.
So then he settled down and bedded down 4 times.
Yeah, he bedded right and
Wide open.
Even then, he would run, and then he just all of a sudden
Bed down.
Just bed down.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tired, you know.
And he bedded in a spot that you could.
Yeah, he did. He was in a
get a
spot.
shot.
Those 4 beds were in kind of the open hardwoods, right on a
knoll.
Right on a knoll. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could. You would have been coming down the ridge, looking right down on him.
Yeah.
You know, looking right down.
And he wouldn't have. His first 2 beds, I doubt he would have left off the back side of the bed. He would have run to the left or the right because it was basically a ledge.
Yeah, down to a brook.
Into a brook.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 4 beds still didn't catch up to him. He went down across the brook, and even then, he gets across the brook, and it was like he didn't know where he wanted to go.
Yeah, he came right back across it.
Goes across the brook
Into the same little section of woods again.
stops, comes right back across the brook. Yeah. And the whole time, even then, we're coming back across the brook, and there's a nice buck track coming down off the ridge. Another one going. It's just like, man, every buck in the country was there.
Either that, or he and his opponent there that he
had run all through the woods.
They had gone all through there. They'd gone all through there.
I would have liked to have seen where they fought.
Yeah, I thought of that. If it hadn't been deer season, I'd have gone and tried to find the place where they had gotten in the scrap there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. It was. They were. I mean, it was like total chaos in there. Those deer. It gave you a glimpse into some of their behavior, you know, of what they do and how wild and frantic it can be during the rut and stuff. And,
especially this late in the year, Thanksgiving week. I mean, I've tracked some bucks years past that.
Yeah.
Like, man, there ain't no way in heck I'm going to catch this guy. He's just running all over. Remember that one over?
Yeah.
I tracked him a few times, and every time I tracked him, he just ran everywhere. Big trots, it was great. Big.
He never walked anywhere. He'd run up the ridge, run to a section where you assume he was looking for some does.
Run to another spot.
And run to another spot. Yeah. And he never walked. He ran everywhere he went.
Unless he was going to find what he was looking for.
Yeah, unless you caught him with some with the doe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that ended. I didn't even see deer that day. Nope,
didn't see or didn't hear a deer.
No.
They, like I say, they very well could have been long gone out of that site. We were and to try to sort it out, which we tried to do. You can spend hours and hours trying to sort that mess out, you know, and try to get some idea
bearing on what's going on.
Yeah, because there was tracks everywhere.
Yeah, and not just in a little area. It was tracks everywhere,
all over the ridge,
across this entire ridge. It was pretty insane.
Yeah.
And you know, over the week, I didn't hear many shots.
No, very, very few.
The only day I did was the day Thursday, which was probably the best tracking day we had. The best day to shoot
kill a deer. Yeah.
I heard 3 off in the distance, pretty close together, and then maybe a minute pause.
Yeah.
Then a 4th one. And that was the only gunshots I heard all week.
Yeah.
And there were plenty of hunters.
And we were out.
Never was in the truck.
Yeah, we were out. We were outside there. So.
Then we saw a moose yesterday.
Yeah, we saw 5 or 6 moose yesterday.
Oh yeah, we saw a bunch coming back.
On the main road.
The cold weather gets things.
Yeah, the moose is funny how and that's every year that we come up deer hunting towards the end of that week, Thanksgiving week, when it starts getting cold, the moose start popping out.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, we always see more moose. We spend all day in the woods and see very few moose, but we see them on the main drag.
Yeah.
On the paved highway.
See very few moose tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw moose deer hunting yesterday.
Yeah. We see far more fresh deer tracks than moose. And so what do I see in the woods? A moose.
Moose.
Yeah. You think, well, the odds of seeing a deer would be far better than seeing a moose, but yeah.
And that brought the end of our deer camp.
Yep.
So next week, you're going to get the muzzleloader out.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not 100% sure. I'm leaning that way. Like I say, we'll see what Narda's got, what she's got planned for us. So
shoot that. There's a 8-pointer over there that has a
Yeah.
broken main beam. Pretty good sized rack on him.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate the front of his beams.
Oh,
broken
it's not. I wouldn't complain
No?
too much if he.
Yeah,
you know.
it was a nice buck.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I think-
I
and I
would
gotta-
not shoot him because.
Yeah, I got to look through the picture. I think we've got a picture of him early in the year with his full rack,
Yeah.
and then a picture
Yeah.
recently with a broken.
He could have been one of the ones because he was in that area. He could have been one of
Yeah.
the ones that was scrapping in there. Very well, could have been.
I'd like to see the buck that broke his main beam.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a nice,
Yeah.
nice deer.
Yeah.
So get one muzzle loading.
Well, like I say, we'll see what happens. I got to go home and reconnoiter. I got to.
We got to wait a whole nother.
Yeah, it went by.
year to do it.
And we say always say that.
Man, it feels like I just got here.
It comes and it goes by really quick, and it was a good time. I was thinking this morning, I'm probably right now in the best shape that I've been in probably decades.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
went good all day.
Yeah, I mean,
And it was funny. We were talking about it last night. We didn't really get on any bucks that brought us on a beeline away from the truck.
No.
Like you can end up miles and miles away from your pickup
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
And every buck that we tracked
yeah,
basically just did
circles.
went
Yeah,
a long ways,
Yeah.
but never really left
Right.
like a 3 to 5
Right.
mile radius
right.
of the pickup.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah,
They just did circles. They didn't want to leave,
yeah,
which was good. Because
Yeah.
when you're ready to leave at night, you're not thinking, "Oh my God,
yeah.
I got just as far to walk to
Mm.
get back to the pickup."
Yeah, that's where I send you back with the keys, and
I did it one day.
yeah,
Ran,
I still walked, but you walked a lot quicker. You get to the
I jogged up the hill there.
yeah. I saw you running up the hill. Yeah,
It was cold that day.
it was.
That dropped from, I think we started out in the mid-20s.
Yeah, it
Upper
dropped all
20s.
day. I think
And
the end
then-
of the day it was in the teens.
Yeah, that we were headed back out.
Yeah.
I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock, and because we weren't seeing much for
Yeah.
nice deer tracks, it was all
No.
does and fawns. And it was
No,
19 degrees when I got to the pickup.
Yeah, it was just one of those days that you just never felt like you were in the game. That you had something to work with. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
that day,
Yeah,
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
It was,
So
you have those days that you like I say, you just
like, where did the deer go?
yeah,
Happens a lot after a snow. I can remember being in areas where there was a ton of deer sign,
yeah,
and you get a snow, and you're thinking, okay, we got snow. It's going to
Yeah.
be, and it may take a day or
Yeah.
so before you really get into them.
yeah,
And yeah, you get snow, and you're like, where'd all the deer go?
yeah.
I did get a message from John Carroll,
Yes,
who is on our podcast
yeah,
about a month or so ago, just before deer season.
yeah,
He was up here to go into their deer camp, and they kind of have, there's like a second group of guys that goes in
Right.
after his group goes into their deer camp. And one of the guys shot a beautiful
yeah.
buck. It was a younger guy,
His first year.
first deer, 210
Yeah.
pounds,
Yeah,
and it's a great story actually. The first deer, and the guy's deaf, was born without hearing.
yeah.
And you think about deer hunting without being able to hear.
Using your senses.
I
Hearing's
probably-
an important one.
I probably use my ears more. I've got really good hearing.
Mm,
I don't have the best eyesight.
mm,
But seeing deer in the woods and stuff is kind of a different skill altogether.
right.
But just simple visual acuity, my eyesight's not the best. But I rely on my hearing a lot. And I was thinking there'd be a lot of deer that I wouldn't have shot if I couldn't hear.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of deer that I've heard, whether they stand up
Yeah.
or are
yeah.
walking.
I used to do that. Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like a
yeah,
deaf guy out in the woods anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No,
Sometimes-
seriously.
Sometimes I'm going, Dad,
Yeah.
and
No,
you're just
my hearing is not good.
oblivious to it. And then other times we're walking, you turn around, what'd you say? I'm like,
Yeah. I didn't say a thing.
didn't say a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just standing here.
Sometimes it's a chickadee. To me, it sounds like somebody said something behind me or whatever. And yeah. Yeah.
You turn around on high alert, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
nothing going on here.
Yeah, that is true, Paul. I don't hear good.
No, which I'm surprised you heard the deer breathing.
Yeah, like I say,
Because he did. I was standing there, and
it sounded to me, and then it could have been a full blow because I don't hear well. So, but I thought I heard it
No.
like almost like a sigh or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Even
what-
his blows weren't anything.
Yeah.
You know, you have a deer that breaks out hard,
Right.
and you just have that.
bring you right out of your
Oh,
boots
my
when they
God.
blow. Yeah.
And even when he jumped out of the bed, I remember telling you, I'm like, man, he did not leave he just kind of hopped out of there and
Yeah.
went back to a walk.
That could have been him that was scrapping in there too, because he was in that area.
Yep.
He was in that area.
I think there was a fair number of bucks in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of.
Yeah. Like I say, there must have been a hot doe in there because things were chaotic.
Things were crazy.
It was crazy in there.
Things were crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Bird season still.
Yep.
You got through December, right?
Yeah. But we didn't get a bird all week long.
I didn't bring a shotgun.
No, you didn't.
No.
You were with me, so if you'd gone off on your own, you could have shot some birds.
Yep.
But while we're deer hunting, we don't shoot birds. So
No.
if we're in the woods, sometimes to and from, if we're not in the area that we intend on deer hunting, we'll pop a bird.
Yeah.
But not where we're hunting.
No, and I'd rather go in the woods and
Yeah.
chase deer. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
You see a lot
Yeah. It's interesting.
and learn a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great. And it's funny how, so like we saw all those deer tracks, all kinds of deer sign, and it's funny how you drive in on those roads and you would never,
No.
you'd
Go
see,
100 yards in the woods and it's a whole different
and it was-
world in there.
And so like one of those deer tracks, the one that we actually took going up in there, you never cross the road. And I've picked up a lot of buck tracks that way. Is you're coming down the road and you see on the bank
Yeah.
just punch marks in the snow.
He
And
was
they-
in a log landing there.
Yeah, and they turn around and go back.
Yeah, he came out into the log landing, and it was tough to see because it was all grass.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't like he had a nice
And I was
smooth
like,
surface to look for a deer
"Stop
track.
the
It was
truck."
all grass.
I think there's a deer track right there.
Yeah.
And get out, and yeah, there was two. It was buck and a doe
Yeah,
right there. And a few years ago, same thing. We were driving in. I think we had just gotten snow and weren't seeing anything
yeah,
for deer tracks coming across the road. And we come across the edge of a cut. And I look up on the bank, and it was quite a ways away. And I'm like, I think that's a deer track.
yeah,
So I jumped out, ran up the bank into the cut. Sure enough, nice buck had walked down,
yeah,
and then went back up. So I'm gonna track it. I get my stuff and head out across the cut. And we get up to the knoll on the edge of that cut. There was deer everywhere, a whole
Yeah.
herd of them. And I
Yeah.
think I jumped a bunch of them down in there. I think there was something like 7 deer, and him and a doe had peeled off.
mm,
But there were deer going everywhere
Yeah.
when I got down in there. There were beds everywhere, and I'm like, you would never have any idea if you just
yeah,
were driving by.
yeah,
Be like, there's no deer around. Where are they?
yeah,
And I think, I had a radio. I was trying to tell you the road we were headed towards,
yeah,
and he went across down in a gully.
yeah.
I think just beyond you. Never saw them again.
Oh.
Chased them all over the place. But yeah, you get out in the woods. They hate to cross the roads.
They do, yeah. And that's probably why you were saying we didn't go on a straight line tracking any of the deer, because they generally tried to stay right in the block of woods there
Yep.
that we were in.
The one
So-
that jumped in the lake last year, he eventually went across one good road. But after that, he stayed away from any good drivable road. He would cross like on a section of the road that couldn't be driven.
Yeah,
And I'm like, boys, they really avoid. And he would sit, and I knew when I was tracking him, I'm like, he's not going to go down across the main road. And you could just see it.
Yeah.
And he went beside it, but he
yeah,
wouldn't go near it. They avoid the roads
yeah.
at all measure. And there's a lot of roads.
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
area.
yeah. Totally different than. Sometimes it helps you out a little bit. Sometimes, like the deer that we tracked on Thanksgiving Day, we could
We knew right where
by driving the roads, we knew pretty much
he
where he was.
Had
so,
to have been right there.
yeah. But other times it can be a
And that was like first 6:45 in the morning, and I'm thinking we'll have him on the truck by noontime.
Yeah. Funny thing too, right where he was, and I told you this maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I shot a deer right there in the exact same. He went right through the same spot where I shot a deer.
You called him out though.
I did, yeah. I jumped some deer. I'm assuming a doe and her lambs, and there was a little buck with them, and I could hear him take off.
Muzzleloader.
Muzzleloader,
Yep.
yeah. And they were I was in the hardwoods, and off to my left was a plantation of firs that you couldn't see anything in. And so I thought, I can't go in there because and so I blew my grunt call a few times, and he walked right out.
Real close, wasn't it?
Real close, very close. Yeah, so that deer on Thanksgiving Day went right through the same area.
Yeah.
I told you, this is the area that he went right down through that plantation of spruce.
Yeah.
Went right through crossed the road down below. Not a drivable road, just an old trail, and then headed down towards the lake. Then I wondered if he was going to bail in the lake like yours did, because he kept kind of going that direction. We weren't far from the lake.
No.
I thought, man, he may go right in the lake, but he didn't.
He didn't. No, his demeanor was totally different. He never really seemed, and it seemed the more we jumped him, till the very end of the day, he didn't seem too bothered. He just wanted to lay down.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we got to get him.
Yeah. Well, and there again, when he knows he's being trailed, and they don't mind laying down, because then they're on high alert for.
Yeah, he bedded down in good spots.
They bedded down in a good spot, and he knew he was going to find or hear anything that was coming up behind him before.
The last 2 beds, the wind was at our back.
Yeah. So.
And he was right in the middle of a bunch of hardwood whips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was terrible walking through.
Yeah. There was no way you were going to sneak up on him.
No.
So.
No, it was terrible whacking in the face.
Yeah.
You hold branches in front of me.
Yeah, I tried to
let him go.
Yeah. Sometimes I think of it and try to warn you that. Yeah, but most of the time not.
No.
I just forget what's behind me.
I'm ducking.
Yeah.
But no, it was a fun week.
Yeah.
And I hope
it's always good.
I hope everyone else had a good rifle season. And we've got a week of black powder up here, muzzleloader.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't see much. I haven't heard much of people shooting deer. Seems like things are quiet.
I'm not on any social media, so I have very few people that I know now that hunt.
Yeah.
All the people I know are pretty much out of hunting.
Heard much. And like I said, we didn't hear many shots or see any bucks on tracks. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe next week will be a good week. People will be hitting some deer. So
but
I guess
there again, no matter, I mean, the woods get a lot quieter muzzle loading week.
They do.
You know, there's just a lot fewer hunters out there. Everybody puts in a lot of time with the rifle season, and they're back to work, and so.
Yeah, I wish I could still hunt.
Yeah, I can.
I'd love to muzzleload next week. That'd be.
Yeah.
I get up this morning. I was like, man, I wish we could go deer hunting this morning.
Oh, it's time for a rest.
It kind of stinks when it's over.
Time for a little rest. But
tired out.
No, not bad. You know that. Like I said, I was very surprised coming home at night. You know, you sometimes feel not only physically tired, but mentally drained. I wasn't. No, I felt good.
We go to bed pretty early.
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, but after a meal and a warm fire at 8 o'clock, I had no problem falling asleep. So.
What does me in is like a cold, wet day.
Yeah.
And the minute I get next to the wood stove.
Yeah.
All that fresh air.
Yeah.
And that warm, oh my word.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how hard I physically exerted myself.
Yeah.
That combination just
makes
you feel good.
Yeah.
Tired. So I guess in a year we'll We're doing it again.
Yeah.
A good deer camp.
It was a
Yeah,
pleasure,
well,
Paul.
shoot one next
That's
week.
the, you know, there's always some positive takeaways when you, like I say, the physical activity, getting in, you know, to really good shape.
Oh, you feel good.
To be able to do
Oh,
a day.
yeah.
So there wasn't a day that I said, well, I can't go today because I went hard yesterday. And so we'd go at it the next day. And surprisingly, I can remember years ago when I may take a day off or whatever in between, but we kept at it. And so,
I mean, that doesn't hurt if you know, if you get a day that's kind of terrible conditions and not forcing the issue. If you know a day coming up, like, boys, that day's probably going to be a good day to.
Yeah. So it's always good as your whole mindset changes while you're at deer camp. You're not worried about things that need to be taken care of at the house, or your mindset totally changes, and we have a good time. We eat well.
No, you go home and then you make up for it because everything that you needed to have done is built up.
It didn't go away. It didn't.
So
It didn't resolve itself. Now it has to be resolved.
I'll do 2 weeks worth of work
But I don't have that much. I don't. You know, it's not like I've got to jump back into the job and the family life or anything like that. I don't have that much pressing on me.
Well, Lacey said she didn't lose her crap over the week, so
yeah.
She didn't end up in the insane
Your
asylum.
situation's a lot different than my situation. I've been there though.
I think she said Friday or Saturday. She's like, knock on wood, but she was, it's been a miracle. I haven't lost it yet on them.
Yeah.
It can be taxing.
Yeah, 3 little kids.
One
They
parent.
are busy, as they should be. That's natural. That's normal. That's what you want.
One thing that worked in her favor is we got some snow down there.
So you can get outside.
Get them outside,
burn
playing, and even the dog. The dog was
Yeah.
playing with them there. She said the dog would take Annabelle's hat off her head and run.
Yeah. Labs are like that. They love to.
Annabelle would get it, put it back on. She'd run over and grab her hat.
Yeah.
I guess they did that for quite a while outside.
Yeah.
The dog was having just as much fun as the kids.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. So I guess we'll have some videos out of. We had some fun days with a lot of
Oh yeah, it's
interesting
all good.
stuff that
You know,
we saw.
and there again too, Paul. I can remember as a young man feeling disappointed when you're not successful and you put in a lot of effort, but that doesn't even.
You know,
I got to tell you, that doesn't even. I mean, I'd like to shoot a deer, but it's not the.
no.
Yeah. It
close.
doesn't carry the disappointment that it once did. That
Getting as close as we did to deer,
yeah.
which I think I probably take for granted because it happens a fair amount. But like, we're talking like feet away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
deer. If the wood trees are just removed,
Yeah.
he's like right there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like you
know,
say,
the-
they went right through the skid
Yeah.
trails, and we went, and so
I mean,
even though they
right
were
there.
close, there's no chance of.
no. But it's
No
still fun
chance.
seeing that.
Yeah.
Seeing beds, seeing, what they're
Yeah.
doing. Deer fighting.
Yeah.
That's what they do. When I was looking at the deer all bloodied up, like I'm surprised we don't shoot more deer with missing eyes. I'm like, how do they not gouge their eyes
Because
out?
if ever, and we've all seen it on videos watching fights.
It's a violent.
Yeah,
Oh man.
tines broken off and main beams broken and stuff, and I mean, yeah, their eyes are right there.
Oh.
Their eyes are right
When we
there.
were going up that ridge, I kept thinking, how do I not shoot more deer with
Yeah.
a missing eye?
And we've seen deer with their noses all scarred up, that where
Yeah.
they've been fighting, and like I say, their eyes are right there.
Yeah.
And it does occasionally happen, but
Yeah.
you would think it would happen more often than it. I agree with that. You would think it would happen more often than.
Because if
It
you've seen,
actually
if
does.
you've seen video of a deer fighting, it's violent. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
tapping out.
No,
They
it can be deadly.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I wonder how bad that wound was on his neck.
probably not bad. Probably just a.
Oh, I think that was an immature eagle.
Yeah, I think you're right, Paul. That was close.
Yeah. Right over the camp.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, I've shot deer through the chest that have bled less than that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
He
like,
literally had it, like I say, spraying off on them
Yeah.
and stuff. And from all the evidence that we saw with the chaos and stuff, I'm sure it was a fight.
Oh, it had to
yeah,
have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. They had been in a fight, and
yeah, because he wasn't phased by that a bit. He
no,
was
no,
looking.
no, and there was no very little blood in the bed there. I thought maybe we'd find some blood
Yeah.
in the beds, but we didn't see
One
much.
little spot near his
Yeah,
neck area.
yeah.
His front
I
legs.
think those superficial wounds from fighting are probably common.
Yeah.
You know, so
And you know, and very few hunters in the woods.
no, people
See
drive.
lots of tracks.
Yeah,
Lots of people get out and look at tracks, but
Yeah, we do see some tracks where people go in on deer and stuff.
handful. But the majority of you'll see where someone looked at some deer tracks going into the woods.
Yeah,
They get out, looked at them, and
yeah,
get
back in the track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for the most part, the woods off the roads were quiet,
yeah,
real quiet.
yeah. You can be by yourself if you. Yeah,
Yeah. Pretty easily.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's what I
yeah,
like. That morning we were close to those deer. Thanksgiving Day, there was no one even driving that road. No one would. That was just kind of overlooked.
yeah,
And they would hit all the other roads, and man, we'd always find. And we knew
Yeah.
we're like, wow, we get this whole area down in here.
They
towards
were
the lake.
driving it yesterday though.
They were.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
what little time we were on it when we saw what 2 vehicles come down it just in what little time,
Yeah.
and there was lots of tracks in the snow. It was pretty well beaten down. So
Yeah, but not the rest of the week.
no,
We were pretty much the only ones that
no,
we'd get snow and
that road's getting pretty rough.
yeah,
That road's getting to the point that
Well, then when
in a
it's-
few years it'd be darn tough getting through
especially if you get a road with big mud puddles. When things start getting cold,
there. Yeah.
and that's freezing, you're breaking through, freezing, breaking through.
Get 2 or 3 inches of ice there, it gets a little bit. Yeah.
All the edges get built up with ice.
Yeah.
The middle gets built up with
Yeah.
ice, and then you're hitting bottom, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And that road's
makes it a
getting wet,
mess.
getting some big puddles in it.
yeah,
More so down where the other end where we don't hunt. So, but if you drive, it's a loop. So if you drive the loop, you get some big puddles to go
Yeah.
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess hopefully get some footage of you shooting a
Yeah.
muzzleloader back.
Well,
You might have to film it yourself.
yeah, I'll definitely take some pictures.
Make
So,
sure it's a big one.
Yeah, I'm not fussy. I'm not fussy.
Well,
Yeah.
alrighty, I guess head home and
Yeah.
back to reality.
Yeah.
That's always a
Yeah.
crying shame.
My reality, like I say, is a little different. Than
You can stay right here.
I can. That's the thing.
right
I
here.
can. Yeah.
You don't even need to go back.
Lots of wood in the woodshed, and all I got to do is go home and do some laundry and
Get some more food.
buy some food, and we're good to
Go another week.
give Narda a hug, and we're good to go.
Yeah. I do miss the family.
Yeah, I do too. I told Narda. Just the sound of her name now, it's like,
Oh, don't get soft.
well, yeah, we're
times
blessed.
Yeah.
So,
Alrighty.
yeah,
So I guess until next time, get outside.
it's good for the soul.
See ya.